Okay, so in this lesson we're going to be talking about factorizing. Now, this is something that often people get a bit tripped up with. I initially found it a bit confusing. So I'm just going to explain a little bit why we factorize, and then I'm going to go on to teach you the techniques you need to use to factorize quadratics. So why do we factorize? Well, basically, if we have something like this, it says what is x, and we're told, well, if x plus 3 is equal to 5, then, well, this one's quite easy, obviously. So what we do is x, and then we just take the 3 over, so 5 minus 3. So x is equal to 2, okay? So that's pretty easy. But what about when we have something like this? What is x squared plus x equal to 6? Well, this isn't as straightforward as the previous example. So, what is going on here? Well, what's happening is the x is interacting with itself here. Then you're adding the original number. Remember that this x and this 6, they're both just numbers. And then the end result is 6. Okay? So how would you solve this? Because you can't just take x over here, because then you have x's over there. What we do is, this is why you always see in maths, we're always setting things to 0. And you think, oh, why do we set things to 0? Well, the reason is we want our solution to have a difference of 0 from the correct solution. I know that sounds a bit confusing, but basically what we're saying is if we want the difference in the right answer, the wrong answer to be 0, then we have the right answer, basically. If you're 0 meters away from where you want to be, you are where you want to be. So that's one way of thinking about it. So what we do is we set the equation equal to 0. So we have this now. So we have x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. So now that we have that, how does that help us? Well, now we can do this thing called factorizing, where we can think about, okay, let's try and split this complex solution into more simple building blocks, okay? And for quadratics, you're going to have 2 solutions. So this is the clue here. So the number of the power of your polynomial will give you the number of solutions. So for this one, we know there's going to be 2 values. Okay, so and then we factorize it, which is what I'm going to go on to talk about in the next lesson. But just take my word for it here. So the factors of this equation or polynomial are x plus 3 and x minus 2 equal to 0. And we can see that's right if we multiply it back. If we go x squared, that'll be minus 2x, that'll be plus 3x, so minus 2 plus 3 is 1, then 3 times negative 2 is 6. So these 2 brackets multiply out to give you that bracket again, or give that equation again. Okay, so what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that x is equal to, well, I'll make it even. I'll just do every step. So x plus 3 is equal to 0, and x minus 2 is equal to 0. So x must be equal to negative 3, or x could be equal to 2. Okay, so we can have 2 solutions. So let's think, is this correct? Well, if we put in minus 3 squared plus minus 3, what do we get? Well, that's 9 minus 3, that's equal to 6, which is what we want. And then if we do the same thing over here, we have 2 squared plus 2 equals 4 plus 2 is equal to 6, okay? So both minus 3 and 2 will give you the right, will satisfy this equation. So that's basically what you're doing, you're factorizing, okay? You're thinking about what can I do, what numbers do I need to use to get to the solution where I want to be.